I love, and I mean love, sports. Even growing up, sports were everything in my family, and I can still see it clear as day, sitting on the couch next to my dad and my brother on a Sunday afternoon, yelling at the TV, cheering on my beloved New York Jets. The sound of the crowd, the smell of the wings, the way my dad would pace around the living room every time the Jets would blow a lead, which would happen a lot. Sports weren't just an entertainment, they were family for me, and that love for the game eventually turned into a love for sports cards. My dad used to take my brother and I to card shows on the weekend. The excitement of flipping through a binder or starting a case and spotting that one rookie card we didn't have yet, the dealers shouting the prices, the trade, the smell of fresh cardboard. That was my childhood. Back then, cards were simple. We didn't think about grading, population reports, comps. Sports cards were just something that brought people together. But that illusion started to crack when I got older and started buying and selling sports cards seriously. Suddenly, a card wasn't just a memory, it was a decision. What to buy, what to grade, what to sell. I relied on it daily. Deals, grading subs, auctions, negotiations, it became my world. And after over a decade of doing this, I've learned a lot about what a good card really is and what it definitely is not. So I started digging, talking to dealers, studying pop reports, reading grading notes, and tracking what actually sells fast and holds value. And what I found honestly blew me away. So before you grab your next deal, I'm going to break down to you the 5 sports cards you should absolutely avoid at all costs, show you the red flags nobody talks about, and more importantly, reveal the types of cards that actually pass the test. By the end of this video, you know exactly which cards to skip, which ones are worth your money. And quick note, this is not financial or investing advice. It's for informational and educational purposes only. So without further ado, let's start with the first one. Number 1 is breaking open packs and boxes. So if you don't know what that means, the way sports cards works is people open up packs and boxes. And as you can imagine, this is just a gamble. It's a great way to lose money. This is something you want to avoid. Just to put it in perspective, I was actually talking to a sports card shop owner a few weeks ago who sees hundreds of these packs and boxes opened up on a weekly basis. He told me he kept track. About 15% of people that opened up a box, a case, a pack, got their money back. 15% of people got their money back. That is not a good gamble. You are better off going to the casino and playing blackjack or roulette, even though that's not something I recommend. And to take it a step further, there's something called breaking. So the way breaking works is, let's say you have a case of cards that's worth $1,000 on eBay. That's what it sells for. You'll have a breaker buy this case of cards for $1,000, go on a site like Whatnot or Facebook and break the case down. So they'll sell the case to 10 different people at, let's call it $120 per spot. So now the breaker gets $1,200 in his pocket, and now these 12 individual people only had to pay $120 for the chance to possibly get something good. However, that's a terrible gamble. Your actual value into the case, you're still paying $1,200 in a smaller increment. And doing this is even a worse gamble than just opening up a regular pack or box without getting to a break, which is why if you've ever opened up packs of cards or you've really gotten into breaks, you probably realize, wait a second, I never get my money back, and this just seems like a losing proposition. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying this is something you want to avoid. And the reason it matters is because you're losing money. This is money that could be put towards something good. So that's number 1. Number 2, unlicensed cards and products. You have companies like Topps and Panini and Leaf and Upper Deck. They buy the license or the rights to put a player's logo, the team's logo, the NFL, MLB's logo on their cards. Bowman Chrome, which is a product of Topps, has the license for baseball. So if you ever look at Bowman Chrome cards, you'll realize the Mets logo's on there, or the Angels logo, or the Dodgers logo. However, if you look at something like Panini Baseball and Flawless Baseball, you'll notice the hat, the shirt, it's just red. Like if it's an Angels shirt, it's just red with no logo. That means the card is unlicensed. It probably doesn't seem like a big deal to you if you're newer to cards, but this is something people care about a lot. The reason why it matters is because unlicensed cards, they're very hard to make money on. You know, you can only make money on something that could sell, and if something is not that liquid, it's hard to sell, right? That's the reason it matters. It's just not a good spot to put your money. Number 3 is buying hyped cards. The way sports cards works, at least modern sports cards, most players don't live up to expectation. It's really just how sports works, to be honest. Let's take, while I'm talking right now, the NFL season is going on. Most of the young QBs have not lived up to their expectation. Go back a year, right, to 2023. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, they've been right? Take the newer guys. Jaden Daniels, while I'm speaking, not having the best season. Bo Nix, same thing. JJ McCarthy, same thing. Caleb Williams has been decent. Drake May has been really good. Most players don't live up to expectations, which means most players, their value goes down. So you need to understand this. What you want to be doing is buying cards in the offseason, like if it's November, buy baseball in November, December, and sell it February, March. So you're taking the risk out of it because you're buying and selling these cards while the player is not actually playing. So that's number one. And number two, a step on top of that is don't buy into the hype, which is kind of the same thing as timing, right? In August of 2025, Jaden Daniels and JJ McCarthy, all these guys were hyped because the season was about to start. Nobody thought these guys could do bad, right? How could JJ McCarthy have a bad season with Kevin McConnell and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison? Well, at least while I'm speaking right now. Don't buy into the hype. Just to give you two examples, Joe Burrow, Super Bowl in 2022, his cards, his Silver Prism PSA 10, and all of his cards were selling for a ton. It was worth $3,000, just about a Silver Prism PSA 10. Today, that card's about $1,200. That's example number one. Example number two, Zion Williamson, which actually lost me a lot of money. In August of 2020, before his sophomore year started, how could this guy be bad? He's 6'9", jumps through the roof, he's huge, he can shoot, he can do all these things, and his Silver Prism PSA 10 was $4,000 at the time. $4,000 he bought into the hype. Today, that card is worth $300. Well, I'm speaking right now, it probably sounds crazy to say, but Shohei Ohtani, his cards are through the moon. I would not buy them for that reason. You don't want to buy while it's high. You want to buy before it gets high, right? Buy low, sell high, don't buy high. Common sense, but it's also easy to say and not so easy to do because right now, Shohei Ohtani just won the World Series. How could he do bad? Things happen, right? God forbid he can get injured, right? Keeping up the pace he's at is just very, very difficult. The reason it matters because it's just a losing game. Just most guys don't live up to their hype and expectation. So that's number three. Number four, buying the wrong positions, okay? So however you go about making money in sports cards, and what I talk about a lot is buying, grading, and selling, you want to be buying guys that people want, right? A card is only good to make money on if it actually can be sold. And there's a few positions you want to avoid in each sport. In the MLB, you want to avoid, for the most part, buying pitchers. They're just simply not as desirable. Why? I don't know. Maybe because they only play one in every 5 or 6 games. There's exceptions like Paul Skeens and Shohei Ohtani. Their cards sell very well. You could buy, grade, and sell them with big margins. That's an exception. But most pitchers you want to avoid for the most part. They're just not as liquid in the hobby. It's just how it is. In football, really, you want to avoid anything besides quarterbacks. Quarterbacks sell like crazy. They're liquid, great to make money on. You can make some money with receivers like Malik Neighbors, defensive guys, running backs for the most part, offensive linemen, linebackers. These guys are so hard to make money on. Even if you buy a card, grade it, and sell it, a lot of time there's no margin because the demand is just not there. So you want to avoid those guys. And then in basketball, you want to avoid big men that can't shoot. Nobody likes them. They're just not liquid. It's not like these guys are bad players, but just people like excitement. That's why people like the quarterback. That's why people like hitters. And they don't like pitchers because it's not as exciting, right? They only play one in every 4 or 5 days. So avoiding positions because it's hard. The margins are low. It's hard for these cards to go up and they're hard to sell. That's number 4. Number 5. I see people screw this up all the time. If you're buying and grading and selling a card, don't buy a card with low margins. Let's take a 2024 pink Shohei Ohtani Topps Chrome card. While I'm speaking right now, there have been 182 of these cards sent to PSA and 98 have gotten a PSA 10. So 53% of these cards get a PSA 10. And while I'm speaking right now, this card can be bought for $40 and sold for $200, right? It doesn't take a mathematician to realize, wait a second, 53% of these cards get a 10. I can buy this card for $40 right now and sell it for $200 as a 10. Pretty good deal, right? And then there's cards that are very hard to grade with not great margins. So let's take a 2022 Paolo Banchero horizontal variation rookie, number 25. There have been 11 sent to PSA and 2 have gotten a 10. So 18% of them grade a 10. One costs $2,400 raw and it's $5,000 as a 10. So you're only doubling your money and there's only an 18% chance this card grades a 10. Would you rather buy a bunch of the Ohtanis where 53% get a 10 and you over double your money, or only double your money and 18% get a 10? The math is simple. You can actually see what a card sells for as a PSA 10, and you can actually see what percent of cards get a PSA 10 through a great website website called gemrate.com. You can just type the card in, see how many have been sent to PSA, see how many have gotten a 10, right? And that's why sports cards is amazing, because you could buy an asset 60-70% of the time, double, triple, quadruple your money. Doesn't grade a 10, you only lose a little bit to nothing, and you would keep playing that game over and over again. Something I will say as well, even if a card is easy to grade, if there's no margin, you can't buy it. I have seen people who have paid me money to learn sports cards. This is something I stress and teach. Buy cards for $80 and a PSA 10 is only $120. How are you doing that? Because if you buy a card for $80 and it's going to cost $20 to get it graded, call it another $10 for shipping, some fees, this, that, there's literally no room to make any money. Like literally, it's impossible. There's only room to lose money. But I see people do this. Or better yet, sending cards that are worth $2 to grade and a PSA 10 is only $30. If a card's worth $2 and it's going to cost you $20 to get it graded and a 10's $30, it's just a simple math game. But I see people do it all the time. And you're just putting yourself in a position where it's impossible to lose money. My standard rule of thumb is I only buy a card to grade if I can at least double my money after fees. So if a card costs $100 and it costs me $20 to get it graded, $10 for shipping, I want to make sure after all those fees and shipping and stuff, I could at least double my money at the minimum. So I need that card, that example, for me to net at least $260 for me to consider it worth it, okay? Don't put your money in bad spots. The great thing about sports cards, all you got to do is look what a card sells for as a 10 and how hard it is to get it graded. That is the 5 cards I would avoid buying, or 5 things I would really do to really avoid doing in sports cards. You have breaking open packs and boxes, unlicensed cards, buying into the hype and not timing the market, buying the wrong positions, and buying cards with low margin or no margin, or buying cards that are really hard to grade. So if you flip that on its head, right, you want to do the opposite if you want to make money in sports cards. So don't break open packs and boxes because you'll probably lose money. Buy licensed products, for example, like baseball. Buy Bowman Chrome. Buy cards made by Topps. Don't buy into the hype. Buy low. So if it's November, December, buy baseball while it's low and sell it into the hype. Buy the right positions. Buy hitters, buy quarterbacks, buy exciting guards that could shoot in basketball, buy cards like that pink Shohei Ohtani Topps Chrome that grade at a good clip, and then also have healthy margins when it does grade at 10. Do the opposite of what I'm saying in this video, and you'll do pretty okay in sports cards. Hopefully this helps you out. There's a free PDF down below in the description that walks you through all this stuff step by step. It'll take you A to Z on exactly what I'm talking about, just in a little bit more depth to actually have something on paper. Hopefully you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.